Imagine this. It's a clear morning at Arlington, and the tomb guard stands still as a statue, his boots echoing perfectly. Then, all of a sudden, a loud and rude SWAT unit shows up, and their leader shoots a taser right into the guard's leg. The crowd gasps, but the guard doesn't move, doesn't tumble, and just keeps marching toward the unknown. Tourists are shocked. There are whispers in the air. What type of man can absorb a hit like that and not break? What they don't know is that a 4-star general is already on his way to the plaza, watching from the shadows. He's going to remind everyone what this place and that tomb guard stand for. Before we continue this amazing story, don't forget to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. Also, let us know in the comments section where you are watching from, and if you think that principles like honor, bravery, and sacrifice are still important, help us preserve their memory alive. It's a clear fall morning in Virginia's Arlington National Cemetery. Soon after dawn, there is a light film of mist on the unending rows of white headstones, and the air has that crisp, clean bite. They lie down like quiet soldiers, each one commemorating a life given for something greater. The tomb of the unknown soldier is the most important part. It's a melancholy slab of marble that feels like it's holding the weight of history itself. Families, veterans, and school kids are already coming to this spot, where words fail and silence speaks louder than any voice ever could. Sergeant Daniel Carter, or Danny to his friends, stands guard under the marble arch. He is 28 years old and a member of the 3rd Infantry Regiment, also known as the Old Guard. He was chosen to be a tomb sentinel. Danny isn't very tall, maybe 5'10", but he walks like he's made of iron. His uniform is well pressed, with every crease sharp enough to cut bread. His M14 rifle is steady in his white-gloved hands, and his eyes are fixed on a point that only he can see. He takes 21 steps, stops, turns, and then takes 21 steps back. It's not just a march, it's a promise to remember the unknown troops who never made it home. Danny knows what it's like to make sacrifices. He did 2 tours in the Middle East and saw things that most people can't even imagine. A roadside bomb killed half of his squad and left a scar on his left forearm. He doesn't talk about it or post about it on social media. To him, the real heroes are the ones who didn't get to tell their stories, the ones who are buried under that marble. That's why he's here. That's why he volunteered for this duty. It's not about glory, it's about giving a voice to the voiceless. The crowd is quiet today, showing respect. A dad holds his daughter's hand and points at Danny, whispering about honor. An older veteran in a faded army cap watches with tears in his eyes, remembering friends who didn't make it back. A group of high schoolers who are usually loud and distracted stand quietly with their phones down, feeling like they're part of something bigger. Click, click, click. Danny's boots make a pattern that resonates through the plaza. 21 steps, pause, turn. It's like the heartbeat of the country itself. But that rhythm is about to be broken. 3 black SUVs pull up across the plaza, their tires crunching on the gravel path. They shouldn't be here. Arlington has strict rules, and random cars don't just pull up to the tomb. The door of the lead SUV swings open, and Lieutenant Mike Brennan, 38, a SWAT team leader from a local police department, steps out. He's broad-shouldered, dressed in tactical gear, and has a swagger that says he's used to being the toughest guy in the room. 4 other SWAT police get out behind him, all wearing vests, holsters, and tasers hooked to their belts. They are apparently here for some type of joint training exercise that was approved by higher-ups. But the way they walk shows that they don't care much about the rules of this place. Brennan looks around the square, and the morning light shines off his mirrored sunglasses. He sees Danny in the middle of the march and smirks. He whispers to his crew, loud enough for adjacent tourists to hear, "Man, look at this guy. What is he, a wind-up toy?" The other police laugh, but not Officer Jenna Torres, who is younger than the rest of them. She moves uneasily and looks at the crowd, but she doesn't say anything. The tourists move around, feeling uneasy. A park ranger who is standing at the rope barrier goes forward and says in a pleasant but forceful voice, "Sir, this is a restricted area. No unauthorized personnel beyond this point." Brennan shows a badge without stopping. "Lieutenant Mike Brennan, Tactical Response Unit. We're here on official business, joint ops training. We got the go-ahead from the top." The ranger stops for a while to look at his iPad. "Sir, I don't have any record of..." Brennan cuts him off and says, "Calm down, buddy. We're just watching. No harm, no foul." He walks beyond the barrier, and his crew follows him. The crowd moves aside like water around a shark. Brennan pauses a few feet from Danny, who has stopped at the end of his march with his weapon at his shoulder and his eyes set straight ahead. Brennan tilts his head, measuring him up like he's a carnival attraction. So, this is it, huh? The big show? A guy in a fancy uniform marching back and forth like a robot. What's the point? Are you guarding a ghost or something? Danny doesn't blink. His face is like stone and his body is stiff. 21 seconds go by, then he turns, as precise as a metronome, and starts his next series of steps. Click, click, click. Brennan laughs again, this time louder. Oh, come on, man. You don't talk? Don't move unless it's part of the script? He takes a protein bar out of his pocket, unwraps it, and chews loudly. I bet I could wave this in your face and you wouldn't even flinch. Trained to be a statue, huh? The ranger gets closer and speaks more sharply. Sir, you're interrupting a ceremonial detail. Please step back. Brennan waves him off. Calm down, man. I'm just checking to see if the guy is paying attention. Allies, right? We're all on the same team. He looks to his squad and grins. I'll bet you $20 he's sleeping under that hat. The audience is getting impatient. A mother pulls her child closer and whispers, "Why is he being mean to the soldier?" An older man in an army cap mutters under his breath, "Disrespectful punk." Jenna Torres moves again, her hand resting on her taser. She looks uneasily between Brennan and the crowd. She knows this isn't right, but she's not senior enough to stand up to him yet. Brennan's smile fades and is replaced by something harder. He's not used to being ignored, and Danny's silence is getting on his nerves. You know, he says as he gets closer to the march path, this whole thing is a joke. You're out here playing dress-up while real cops and soldiers are out there doing their jobs. He taps his head. You think this impresses anyone? A guy who can't even react? Danny takes his 21 steps, stops and turns. His eyes stay on him and his posture doesn't change. Brennan's jaw tightens. Okay, fine. Let's see how tough you really are. He unclips his taser, which is black and yellow, and holds it up like a trophy. Just a little test, he says loudly enough for everyone to hear. Training exercise. No big deal. The ranger leaps forward and says, "Sir, you can't. Not enough time." Brennan takes aim and shoots. The taser darts hit Danny in the thigh, just below the polished belt of his uniform. The electric buzz cuts through the morning air, sharp and ugly. Danny's body tenses, and his grip on the rifle gets so tight that blood seeps through his white gloves, staining it red. His jaw clenches, but he doesn't fall. He doesn't cry out. He doesn't break his stance. The crowd gasps. A child yells, "Mommy, he hurt him." The veteran with the cap starts forward with his fists clenched, but stops himself because he knows he can't cross the barrier. Brennan stands back and smiles like he has won something. See, the statue is still standing. Tough guy, huh? His team chuckles uneasily, but Jenna's face is pale. She whispers, "Mike, that was too far." Brennan shrugs and says, "It's a taser, Jenna. Low voltage. He's fine. Just look at him." Danny is all right, or at least he appears it. He is still standing, his eyes fixed on that unseen spot, his rifle steady. The taser darts hang from his leg, and a dark burn mark spreads across his blue jeans. But his face is a mask of discipline, and his body is a monument to duty. The crowd isn't quiet out of respect anymore. They're shocked, like the air before a storm. A ranger pushes a button that says "Urgent Incident" inside the neighboring security station. Radios crackle. The incident is no longer just a little problem. It's a crime against something precious. Somewhere else in the cemetery, a person is already walking toward the plaza. This person has the power to make things right, and has served for decades. It feels like hours pass in the next several minutes. Danny's blood, which is still coming through his glove, continues to darken, yet he starts his next march. Click, click, click. 21 steps. Stop. Turn. The crowd watches, breathless, as he walks through the pain like it's just another day. The taser's sting remains, but Danny's thinking of the soldiers beneath the tomb, the ones who endured worse than a shock and never came home. He's not here for himself. He's here for them. Brennan is still talking, trying to fill the stillness with bravado. "Come on, man. You felt that, right? There's no shame in it." His voice is becoming louder, but it's starting to break. Jenna's team isn't laughing anymore. Jenna is staring at the ground, and her hand is twitching like she wants to say something but can't find the words. People are looking at Danny, not Brennan. Someone in the headgear says, "That boy's got more guts than all of them put together," loud enough for others to hear. Then, from the direction of the Memorial Amphitheater, a new figure appears. General William Hayes, a 62-year-old four-star general in the United States Army. He walks into the plaza, tall and silver-haired, with a uniform so crisp it could stand on its own. His face is weathered but calm, and his eyes are sharp enough to cut through steel. He isn't hurrying or yelling. He's just moving with a purpose that makes everyone else stop and pay attention. 2 military police officers are on either side of him, and a young aide is following after with a radio. People move out of the way as General Hayes gets closer. Brennan sees him, and for the first time his smirk fades. He stands up straight and tries to look official. "General, sir," he responds, with a half-hearted salute. "Lieutenant Mike Brennan, Tactical Response Unit. Just doing a training exercise, sir. No harm meant." General Hayes doesn't return the salute. He stops a few feet from Brennan and looks at him with a steady gaze, as if he were gazing through him instead of at him. "Explain," he says. His voice is low, but it sounds like a man who's given orders to thousands of people. Brennan stutters. "Well, sir, we're here for a joint ops drill. I was just seeing how the guard would react. It's standard procedure to check their situational awareness." Hayes doesn't flinch. "You shot a taser at a guard at the tomb of the unknown soldier. Is that what you call standard procedure?" The gathering is quiet now, and every eye is on the general. His words are gentle, but they hit like a sledgehammer. Brennan's face turns scarlet. "Sir, it was low voltage and not deadly. He's fine, look at him. He's still standing." Hayes turns, not to Danny, but to the tomb itself. He pauses for a while, as if to pay his own respects, and then looks back at Brennan. That man is protecting the memory of soldiers who gave everything for this country. Men and women who died without names or faces, so that people like you could stand here and call yourself free. And you thought it was okay to attack him and make a scene here. Brennan opens his mouth and then closes it. Jenna comes up and says, "Sir, I'm Officer Jenna Torres. I didn't know he was going to do that. I'm sorry." Her voice is unsteady but clear. Hayes looks at her and his face softens a little. "I understand your apology, officer, but this isn't about you." He looks back at Brennan and says, "Lieutenant, put your guns on the ground right now." Brennan thinks for a moment, then unclips his taser and service weapon and drops them on the ground with a loud bang. The MPs stride forward and pick up the gear with ease. Hayes goes on, "You and your team will be escorted off these grounds. Your training privileges are on hold until your chain of command has a chance to fully review the situation." Brennan's jaw drops. "Sir, you can't. I'm part of an authorized—" Hayes cuts him off. "You are allowed to watch, but not to get involved. You went too far, Lieutenant, and you did it in front of the people who come here to honor our fallen. You did it in front of kids." He points to the throng, where the little girl from before is holding her mom's hand and looking scared. "You did it in front of that sentinel, who is still doing his duty even though you did it." Danny has finished another march. Click, click, click. He stops, turns, and stands at attention. The taser darts are still hanging from his leg. His glove is stained with blood, but his face is unreadable and his posture is flawless. Hayes walks over to him and stops just beyond the march path. He says loudly enough for everyone to hear, "Sergeant Carter, are you fit to stay on duty?" Danny's jaw moves a little, which is the only hint of the suffering he's masking. His voice is calm and clipped. "Fit for duty, sir." Hayes nods once, sharply. "Carry on, soldier." Danny turns and takes his next 21 steps. The crowd watches, some with tears in their eyes as he moves through the pain like it's nothing. Hayes turns back to the MPs and says, "Take the lieutenant and his team to the edge. Don't talk to them until command gives the all clear." The MPs nod, and Brennan's crew starts to move, heads down and not looking at the audience. Brennan tries one more time to save face. "Sir, this is a mistake. I have permission from—" Hayes cuts him off. "You don't have permission to desecrate this ground. You're done here, Lieutenant." The MPs take Brennan and his team away, and their SUVs follow like dogs that have been reprimanded. Jenna looks back at Danny, her face tight with shame, but she doesn't say anything as she follows her team. The plaza is quiet, except for the constant click of Danny's boots. The throng is still there, but something has changed. They are no longer just visitors. They are witnesses. The veteran with the army cap walks closer to the barrier. His voice is harsh but clear. "That boy has more honor in his little finger than that clown had in his whole team." Sergeant Maria Lopez comes out of the guard post to take over for Danny. The changeover goes off without a hitch, showing perfect discipline. Danny walks behind a privacy screen, where a medic is waiting. He has a slight limp, but he doesn't take the medic's arm. He doesn't say anything or look back. He's done his job, and that's all that matters. General Hayes speaks to the audience, and his voice can be heard all throughout the plaza. This place isn't just a monument. It's a promise to remember the soldiers who gave everything, and whose names we'll never know. Sergeant Carter stood his ground today, not because he had to prove anything to that man, but because he made an oath to those soldiers. That's what strength looks like. That's what honor means. Some people in the crowd clap softly, while others wipe their eyes. The small girl from before pulls on her mom's sleeve and asks, "Mommy, why didn't he fight back?" Her mom kneels down and speaks softly. "Because he's stronger than that, sweetheart. He's protecting something bigger than himself." As the sun rises, Danny comes back. He is wearing a new uniform, and there is no sign of the taser's damage or the blood on his glove. He gets back on the march path and acts like nothing happened. Click, click, click. 21 steps. Stop. Turn. The crowd is quieter now and has put their phones away. Their faces are contemplative. They have witnessed something today that they will remember. The man with the cap speaks again, and people nearby can hear him. That man held his dignity like a weapon, and it was stronger than anything that SWAT guy brought with him. A few people nod, and a youngster close, who had been quiet the whole time, pulls out his phone. He's not taking a picture, he's typing something. It could be a post or a message to a buddy. Whatever it is, it's about what he just saw. By noon, news of the event has spread. Brennan and his team are at a nearby base, where they are about to be reviewed and probably terminate their training program. Jenna Torres writes a formal apology and says she will learn from what happened. But life continues on at the tomb. Danny marches on, his steps as steady as ever, his eyes fixated on that eternal point. He doesn't know the audience is talking about him, or that his story is already going beyond Arlington. He doesn't need to. He's not here for the plaudits. So, here's the question for you listeners. What's the best thing to do when someone attempts to tear you down? Fight back or stand your ground? Is there still strength in being quiet when everyone else is yelling for attention? In doing your duty no matter what? Today, Sergeant Danny Carter answered that question. He didn't shout or hit anyone, he just stood there, strong for the soldiers who couldn't stand anymore. If this story affected you the same way it did us, please hit the like button. Share it with someone who needs to hear it, like someone who thinks being strong means being the loudest person in the room. Leave a comment below, and tell us what you think real strength looks like. If you've ever been to Arlington and felt the weight of that place, please let us know. Your stories are important. Hit the notification bell and subscribe so you don't miss our next one. We have more stories about the men and women who stand up for something bigger than themselves. Keep this in mind until then. Genuine power doesn't need to shout, it just stands. And when it does, even the loudest voices run out of things to say. Have you ever been to Arlington National Cemetery? Have you ever seen the tomb of the unknown soldier up close? Tell us what you think, because this one will make you think about what strength really means.